The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
I love finding a new show and sharing it with my friends. And Unstable is that show I'm sharing with my friends on Netflix. And, of course, Rob Lowe and John Owen Lowe, the stars, and also executive producer.
Co-creators.
And co-creators of Unstable.
Writer.
And writer.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And flautist.
Flautist, yes. Flutist/flautist. I will admit that I don't necessarily know how to play the flute as well as my character does, but I can make it look like I do.
You have to see the show to understand what the hell I'm saying. So, Gandhi, you'll see in the very first episode, not only will you see the bare butt of Rob Lowe, but also his son teaching flute lessons in New York City.
Well, you're really pitching the show in a great way. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm like, wait, I'm a 59-year-old man's butt and a flute player? I'm in.
It's awesome. It is everything one needs.
Wait, is it your butt or is it a butt double?
Oh, it's mine.
Okay.
We haven't fallen that far off the face of the earth.
That was rude of me.
Yeah.
Gravity hasn't been so evil. So your dad's butt right there for everyone to see.
Well, I mean, the way you phrased that
it was amazing.
That was interesting. That was that was a moment. I think that it's important for you to know that I wasn't there for my dad's butt day.
Okay. Yeah, I would stay home that day.
Yeah,
I'm dying here. I'm getting murdered.
Well, no, it's your dad's butt. It doesn't matter how fine it is.
That's
it's
true.
your dad's.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I mean, like he said, he's a 59-year-old man. How
good could it be?
Can that be?
He looks awesome. You're looking great. And that doesn't. I don't. Let's not talk. Let's talk about what is really at hand here.
Let's get the brass tacks.
And that's Unstable. I love your characters. I mean, Rob, your character Ellis is this. You know what? I tell you what. John Owen, describe your dad's character, and then you describe your son's character.
I like that.
Sure. Okay. So Rob plays Ellis Dragon. Ellis is a wildly successful, but very eccentric, untethered, slightly insane, narcissistic, egomaniac, billionaire, entrepreneur, biotech creator.
And out of all those words and descriptive words you used, how many of those actually apply to your father, Rob?
The first half
of them. A lot of them. The ones that
right up until he said narcissist.
Success. No, that one. I told you. You know what's the phrase I like to use?
Benevolent narcissist.
There you go.
Benevolent is important.
Yes.
That's a therapeutic or a therapy phrase right there.
Yeah.
Well, the quirkiness of the character is just it's fun. It looks like a fun role to play.
It's a really fun part. I mean, it's a character that gives me so much latitude to just go for it and be silly and funny and goofy and yet it's kind of grounded in reality because we read the news and you see that there are so many eccentric, insane tech giants out there that it's the perfect time to kind of lampoon that a little bit.
So no one's using names like Elon Musk.
A likable Elon Musk.
Well, we do. We talk about it, and it's there's a funny joke about, I guess, sort of the Elon Musk-ness of the show in episode 4. But the point is, it was pretty layered into the pitch when we were trying to sell this show through this lens of like it's our father-son dynamic, but placed in the world of tech and these insane, eccentric billionaires because they're so ripe to be made fun of.
But I find your character very lovable. I do.
Yeah.
And I don't find him living in a world of not being self-aware at all. I mean, every once in a while you'll see Eldis's face being very aware of something he's thinking about.
Yeah, there is a super fine. Thank you for that, because there is a super fine line of that sort of almost caricature, and he is a guy who really wants to change the world, and he's super earnest, and he's super curious, and he's a sweet searcher who will never probably find the answers that he's looking for, and that's always, I think people have like sympathy for that, and he's very relatable in that way, and to have the relatability along with the heightened insanity is the key.
Well, so your son, John Owen, is playing your son, Jackson.
Yes.
So describe his character.
I would say...
let him have it. Let him know exactly how you feel.
I would say someone who's trying to find his way, trying to navigate what it's like to live in the shadow of his father, and likes it and also hates it all at the same time, and very talented in his own right, but kind of adrift.
That was so political.
Was it
so
right? Was it
soft.
correct?
I thought I kind of let you have it.
No, that was very sweet. That was nice.
Really?
Yeah, you could have been way harsher than that.
Oh, okay. I thought I was being harsh.
No. The bar is like really high on that in our family. You know that. So
Let's lower that quickly, shall we?
yeah.
So Gandhi, what
Yes.
happens is Ellis loses his wife, Jackson's mother, and so they feel at the company he's lost it. So they run to New York, grab their flute teaching son to come back to the West Coast and try to get Dad grounded.
Yeah.
And so the fun ensues.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a great
Jackson.
job, yeah.
Jackson, my son, is really the only person who can sort of reach Ellis.
Yeah.
He's the only one who speaks the language, who can ground him, tether him. I mean, look, the show was originally based on John Owen's trolling of me online, and so anytime I would post anything, he would just eviscerate me. And he just did it as a bit, and it was funny, and we liked it as father-son ribbing. But then it kind of caught on and became a thing. And anytime I did an interview, people wanted to talk about that. And Johnny came to me and was like, "Dad, people kind of like this vibe. Is there a show there?" So it took us a while, and we pitched ideas to each other, but it was Johnny's idea to figure something out, and we eventually came up with Unstable. So baked into it is that kind of real father-son.
I think, super simply, it's like everyone's parents annoy them to some degree, and so there was this relatability to, having a dad who a lot of people like in Rob, and as his son, not having many people on my side when I think to myself, like, this guy's really annoying. This guy's actually kind of a crazy person. Everyone's like, no, he's the best. We've known him for 40 years. He's been famous for 40 years. He's so cool. He's so likable, and he's this, that, and I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, he's also really
There's just
annoying.
nothing more annoying, is there?
Yeah, no,
than
but
having
your
a
dad
likable
annoys
dad.
you.
Dads are
That's
supposed to annoy people.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
You're not
true.
even my dad, and you're annoying me.
No,
It's all
and it is true.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
no, it is true. Like I'll run into people like, I met your dad, and like I think, oh my god,
You
here
see?
we go.
You see-
But that's
And, like,
your job.
And he was so great. I'm like, yeah. It is really true.
But it's an interesting sort of like, like blind spot when it's like, your dad is a quote unquote, beloved sort of character.
God, he had to put the quotes on it. He couldn't have just said
air quotes.
beloved.
Air quotes, beloved. Because
Narcissist.
narcissist. No quotes.
My
No,
finger's
that's
getting
where there's no
tired.
Yeah,
quotes.
No
no,
quotes.
no quotes on that. So yeah, I got an opportunity to make fun of him on national television and took it immediately.
Are you having fun working together? I mean, is the whole season done? I guess it is done.
Yeah, we're
'Cause
done.
Yeah.
I just push play.
It's
on it.
out. You can watch it on Netflix right now.
We highly recommend you binging it. It's very breezy and by design very, very quick, and you can watch it in half the time that it took you to watch The Irishman.
It's true.
Oh,
It's
dear
quick.
God.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It is breezy, and
Yeah.
it's the pace of the show is just really, really great.
It's a
fun.
rocket. It's
Yeah.
a rocket ship. We wanted to, for whatever reason, there are not a lot of comedies out there right now.
Why is that?
That are hard that are comedies with
Well,
a capital C.
Yeah, because there's a certain genre of comedy that's having a moment right now. Like there's shows like Barry and like Succession and
Right.
They're great shows.
which are fantastic. But I'm like, that's a comedy, like or Hacks even, whatever it is, where it's so story driven, so plot and like
And
Rob
dark.
was saying, and dark. There's
Moody.
We missed that era. There seems to have been a void to fill of the like The Office, Parks and Rec, 30 Rock, New
Arrested
Girl,
Development.
Arrested Development. There's like sort of like soul food, lighthearted, breezy comedies that are just like joke.
I never
joke,
thought we
laugh,
would
laugh.
reach the day where doing a comedy that is just unabashedly trying to be funny would be brave and daring, but here we are.
It's funny. It is funny. It's fun. Again, there's a difference between fun and funny. It's both.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's smart. It's written, and your characters are smart characters.
Thanks.
There's no stupidity going on like we do on our show every day. So it's refreshing for us. Was it fun to work with each other, though? I know this isn't the first time you worked together, but this much material working together must have been a lot.
It was, I mean, for me, as a dad, it's super fun as you're any parent listening out there knows what it's like when your kids get to a certain age. You have to figure out creative ways to spend time with them because they're off living their own lives. They don't even want to go on vacation with you anymore. So I thought, I know, we'll figure out a television show to do together, and he'll have to spend time with me. So
This is a bit.
I
hate this bit.
You hate this bit?
Hate it.
But it has a
core.
It has a morsel of truth to it.
It does have a morsel of truth to it.
Okay, what's your truth?
The truth is that he was very adamant throughout this entire process that we take the necessary sort of energetic mental space to appreciate what we got to do together. So he would say, because there's all these technical hurdles throughout pitching, writing, creating, producing, and acting in a show. All these various issues, and through every step, I think you kept being like, let's just not take this for granted and enjoy ourselves, because it's
rare.
Not very often or ever do you get the chance to work this closely on something this close to us with your son or with your dad.
Do you remember the way you felt, and I'm assuming this happened, this moment, when your dad looked you in the eye and said, John Owen, you really are good. You're a good actor.
That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, wait, when is that going to happen?
So
that
you've never
happens
done that
at some point?
So do you find him, I know, I read somewhere that you did say at one point you think your son is a good actor.
I wasn't in the room.
Was that a bit?
No, I just probably wasn't in the room.
Well, can you look him in the eye?
Don't say it. Don't
Can you do
do
it right now? Look him in the eye. Come on, do it. You know you want to.
Well, here's the thing. I talked about this with some people this morning. We were on Seth Meyers last night, and Johnny absolutely destroyed. He murdered on the show, and I did have a moment where I thought, oh, he's completely found his voice and has come into his own, and I literally can just shut up and enjoy the ride.
As you roll your eyes over there, what's your problem?
My problem with that is that I love that you're like, thank you for
He's going to find a way to murder me for something nice that I just said.
Here's my issue. No, actually, this is I won't make this a joke. I want to actually hear your take on this. Is my only qualm with that is that my voice. I spent that whole interview talking about you because it was questions about you. So is my voice just like my take on you?
Ooh, see, that's how self-obsessed he is about the shadow, my shadow. Like, it's all he's the one who's making about me, not me.
It's an important nuance.
But now you're making it about you, talking about him making it about you.
That's what I'm saying.
See, this is
why I'm having a mental breakdown.
This is
my
the show.
therapist is hearing about.
This is the show.
This is why the show could run.
This is what you want to binge.
This is it. If you want to get deeper into the meta-ness of all of this, come with us on Unstable.
I love it. So yeah, like I said at the very beginning, I know you guys have to roll. You've got lots of things to unpack with each other today, but Unstable. This is the show I'm telling all my friends to watch, and I can't wait to dive back into it.
Oh, thank you.
And so done. I love the energy between the two of you on this show
It's
and
real.
this show.
It's real.
Before you leave though, first of all, Stewie the dog is here to say hi.
Stewie the dog is here.
I've been waiting for Stewie.
He's there. He is.
Your favorite? Let's make it about Rob again.
I'm gonna bring it over here.
Your favorite Rob Lowe work ever, Gandhi? Go.
Oh man, okay, so obviously Parks and Rec, and then the roast. Your roast was
Thank you.
amazing.
You know what? I love.
Did you like his roast? It's about him.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by this wonderful dog. I did like his roast. They were meaner than they were pretty mean. That was
mean.
That was
They're
mean.
supposed to be.
Yeah,
supposed to be.
I loved it. I got a lot of respect for him at the roast because he took it like a champ. He was a good sport.
So I have a question for you then about you. At what point? Hold on, let me put the dog.
There's no dog. That's
Bye, Stewie.
Bye, Stewie.
It was real.
It was a moment that we really will never forget.
I'm going to go back for Stewie in a minute. Okay. At what point, if it is really tough to be in your dad's shadow, did you decide you wanted to pursue Hollywood and going down that path instead of just going in a totally different direction?
Right. It's a good question.
Well, tell her what you were, the path you were on, because it makes it even more appalling. His choices.
I exhausted a lot of options. I tried various things. I was, I worked initially as an intern and then basically as an assistant at a stem cell biology research lab at the UCSF
Wow.
Eli Broad's regenerative.
He's being a little modest. He was the only one who could take the hearts out of the. What were you doing? It sounds awful like animal cruelty, but it wasn't. What were you doing?
I was just working on various they worked with I can do my fancy sort of jargon that if anybody knows relative amount of
hit us up. Let's see if we can figure it out.
We were sort of we were farming stem cells from mice out of their olfactory bulbs, and I was culturing these cells, and we were working. It was like the neural stem cells for regenerative cancer research. That's understandable.
Which very important work.
Very much so. Or so were you one of the people who was putting the antlers on mice by mixing the stem cells and the DNA stuff?
No, unfortunately, I was doing like the grunt work for the most part. But I got lucky,
cool.
and my cells got used in an abstract that was published. So I was the youngest published scientific author at that institution.
Well, Joe, and your dad's shadow does not fall across that industry at all.
No.
I know. But no, I've always been artistic. I've been playing piano since I was like 5. I've been writing since I was, in grade school. I knew I had a passion for the arts. I thought that maybe I could get away with them just being a hobby. And then I'll do a little name dropping. It was like when I was at Stanford, I like that you like that one.
It ain't bragging if you've done it, as Ty Cobb said.
Yeah. I was called back to it because I got basically he was doing this show at the time called The Grinder on Fox, and I worked as an intern in the writer's room as a writer's PA, and then I continued as a writer's PA for a few years, getting coffees and lunches and learning the ins and outs of writers' rooms, and fell in love and found sort of my spot as a writer. And I still left acting on the, sort of out of the picture because of what loomed in that if I chose to walk that path. It was like I know the comparisons that are going to come, and I'll inevitably have to deal with that sort of elephant in the room, and I didn't want to. And then it took a project like Unstable that was personal enough to me that I have to literally play myself with him to, I think, bring this to fruition. And getting to walk through that on a project like this, I think, is exactly how I would want it.
Okay, that was a great story. I would only say, if you're going to tell it again, when you get to the point where you say elephant in the room, if you could say, instead of elephant, that thoroughbred.
I'd like to use the word looming as well.
Looming was good. I liked looming.
So can I give you a piece of advice? Not that it's any of my business to do so, but I have a famous relative too. And if the only way that this shadow falls on you is if you walk in their path. And you two seem very different. It seems like two totally different paths. So I would say, not that it's any of my business to give you this advice, keep going down the path you're going, because it seems like you're going in a really awesome direction by yourself. It's great that your dad's Rob Lowe. Awesome. Hi. But if you can write these amazing things and you don't need him, I mean, you could have had any character play him, right? If you
I
wanted
tried to get John Stamos.
Stop.
Was he busy?
Yes.
But I get it, and I think you're doing a good job, so keep going.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
And thank you to Netflix for giving us another incredible hit. Unstable. It's streaming right now. Make sure you catch it. Rob Lowe, John Owen Lowe. Thank you guys for coming in. God be with you getting
Good
through
job,
this
guys.
day together.
I know.
Yeah.
We need it.
There's
Thank you.
more to come. Thanks for having us, though. Thank you.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.